Hey, welcome everyone. Tom Gaddis here. This is our live Friday coaching call. I'm excited you're here. To everybody in the community, anybody who's tuning in new from YouTube, welcome. I've got a great session lined up for you today. So if you're in our private school community or you kind of been following what I've been doing on this channel recently, you'll have seen a lot of posts about people getting results with what we call the 72-hour traction playbook. And on today's coaching session, I am going to focus in on some specifics of that particular method. Now, if you're not familiar with the 72-hour traction playbook, don't worry, I got you covered. I put together a great document that covers everything about this method, how it works. It has all of the posts, the messages, the follow-ups, the AI prompts, everything that you need to implement this method right away and start getting traction fast is inside this playbook. If you'd like to get your hands on it, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and drop a comment below this video. I will send you a link to access the 72-hour traction playbook where you'll get all of that information. Now, before I dive into the training today, we're going to share some new wins in the community. We'll talk a little bit about that. And then again, I'm going to focus specifically on what happens once people respond to your initial post. How do we deliver the listing? How do we handle if they ask about traffic? I'm going to talk about those things in a lot more detail today and take your questions as well. So I hope you're all ready. We're going to have a great session. If you're here in the chat, let me know. Hey, Barbara, welcome. Awesome to see you here. I see Jamie. Jamie says, I want the playbook. Jamie, here, I'm going to post a link in the chat for all of you that are live right now. You can go right here and download this playbook. And if you're watching this after this recording is over, then all you have to do is like, subscribe, drop a comment. I will send you a link. What's up, Life of Mercury? Welcome. Rick, welcome. Excited you all are here. So we got a lot to cover today, so I am going to dive right in. We're going to start off with some new wins in our community. So I'm going to share my screen here. First, I want to give a big shout out to Alicia Scott. She followed the 72-hour traction playbook. She made a post in a Facebook group. I'll talk about that in a second. And she's got 5 interested businesses already. So she made this post just 22 minutes ago. This was earlier today, I believe. So awesome work taking action, Alicia, and implementing, right? A playbook is pretty much useless sitting on your hard drive. It only is effective if you execute. And what we're going to talk about today is the execution of this method. How to, I struggle with saying things are easy. This method is simple, but it does take some work and effort, right? Like this isn't just some pie in the sky fantasy method. You're going to have to put some effort into it, but we're going to talk about that today and go into that. So Alicia, awesome work on your win today. Next up, we've got Shay Adams, who followed the 72-hour traction playbook, made a post. He's been getting traction and has his first founding package sold. Again, I can cover that in detail. It's inside the playbook as well. So $325 for this. Awesome job, Shay. I love seeing your questions. I can tell you're taking action, right? I love seeing that. Way to go on this. So excellent work, Shay. And this is the kind of stuff that can happen when you execute this method. And again, it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing really complicated here. I feel confident that anyone watching this video could implement this method today or tomorrow and start getting traction. So awesome work, Shay. And then finally, Carlene Hebert. So Carlene has not only been doing the 72-hour traction playbook, but she's also been doing some boots on the ground marketing as well. She walked into a tattooist parlor and she got a relationship going with them. She's also uploaded 100 contacts into her prospecting system and firing off automations to get more traction and things going as well. So Carlene, excellent work there as well. All right, I'm going to check in with the people that are here on the stream. I said hi to a few. Slam Dunk 2785, welcome. Jamie, welcome. Patty, Ted, welcome everybody. Super excited that you are all here today. And again, we got a lot of good stuff going on around this 72-hour traction playbook. So inside the 72-hour traction playbook, here's the actual post that people are making. Basically, what we're doing is we're finding local business Facebook groups that allow posts like this. We're providing a little value first. This isn't about spamming. This isn't about being an unknown face, right? This is becoming a valuable member of these little local groups, and then just letting them know that we've set up a little community hub website to help promote local businesses, and that we're giving away a free listing to anyone who comments or sends us a direct message. So that's the initial part. And if you go into my private school community, which if you're not a member, you can go to smartdirectory.ai/group, just request to join. It's free to join. A lot of valuable free training in here, all kinds of stuff. You can see we've got over 3,300 members in the group right now. They share their experiences, what they're doing. This is a great place to see what people are actually getting traction with. But you can see in this wins, I'm in this little celebrations tab we have here, and you can see here's the win from Alicia today. You can see Shay's win from a couple days ago. Here's a win from Sarah. Here's Sherm. He got 66 responses in 24 hours from this method. You can also see people posting their sites, more wins, 10,000 views from Bradley. Like, you'll just see tons of wins around this 72-hour traction method. And, I look at this stuff and it gets me excited. It gets me excited for the people that are sharing these wins, and for you watching this maybe for the first time, that you've finally stumbled on something that will actually work and that doesn't make you feel like you need to take a shower after you're prospecting. I don't know how you feel about cold outreach, but it's always made me feel uncomfortable. And this method really flips that on its head and has businesses coming to you, asking you, well, how else can you help them? What services can you provide for them? And we're going to go into a little more detail on that today. All right, so I want to start off by talking about what we do once people respond to those messages, because this is where a lot of people are surprised when they make the post and they start getting responses, and they kind of panic a little bit. They're like, oh no, what do I do, right? Some people don't even have a directory site live yet, and they're already getting businesses that are interested in being on the site and getting the free listing and all that stuff. So let me just talk a little bit about that up front. First and foremost, unlike a lot of the, AI prompt pushers, the gurus out there, my go-to method when people ask me questions about what I'm doing is always honesty. So, obviously when we're first getting this method rolling, we're going to have a community hub site that's not going to be getting a lot of traction. And I'm going to show you how to handle those questions and comments a little bit later in a way that makes sense and also brings value to them even when the site isn't getting traction. Now, for those of you that have been in my community for a while, you'll also know that I have a software called Smart Directory AI that makes setting up these community sites super, super easy. Here's one that I've set up in my local Vegas area. With Smart Directory AI, you can get a site like this up in about an afternoon. And the reason we're able to do that so quickly is because whenever you log into Smart Directory AI for the first time, you actually have this site already loaded and ready to go inside your software. So if you look at this site, this is what I call the foundation site, right? We've got some demo businesses in here, all the stuff preloaded. The only thing you really have to do to make this site live is connect a domain. But you can just do some simple edits. Again, it takes just about an afternoon and you can have a site like this. If you look at these two sites, you'll notice that I'm using the exact same structure and layout, the menu system. I've edited some of the text, right, to be Vegas focused. I've added an image of the Vegas area here. I've kind of changed some of these names to be more Vegas focused, but you can see we have a way for people to leave and promote their deals for their businesses on here. We have an opt-in so we can build a list that we can send those deals to, another way to bring value to the people on our directory. We've got the ability to do free listings and premium listings. People can claim their listings. We've also got blogs, news articles, events, all these kinds of things automatically built into the system right out of the gate. And to go from this site to a site like this, again, relatively simple. We edit this image, we edit some of this text, and then when you sign up for Smart Directory AI, my team will send you 100 leads. You tell us what businesses, what area, and then you can load those in and you'll have a site with local businesses, right? And customized to your area very, very quickly. So this is what our giveaway offer is. It's actually a free listing on this site. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in a minute. Here's one of the free listings. And I'm going to talk about how we can add more value to the people that respond to our post when we create these and really build that trust and authority right out of the gate. Even if you don't have a portfolio, even if you've never worked with any clients before, you'll come across as someone who really knows what they're doing and is trustworthy to work with. And this opens up simple conversations that you can have after you deliver these free listings of like, hey, while I was setting up your listing, I noticed that you don't have a voice AI agent on your site, or I noticed that your website isn't ranking on page 1, or I noticed you're not posting on social media. I can help with that. Would you like some more information? Very, very low pressure, very, very authentic, nothing hard selling or pushy about this approach. But as you saw from the wins today from Shay, very easy to get traction and get some, or simple, I should say very simple to get traction and some wins with this method. So let's talk about this delivery part, okay? So whenever someone responds to our Facebook post, what we want to do is we reply back and say, awesome, I'm glad you're interested. Could you please provide me with your business name, address, phone number, website? That's the information we need to get their listing set up, okay? So once the business replies, we gather that information from them, and then we just log into our Smart Directory AI software, and we add their listing first. So here's how we add a listing to the software. We just go into contacts, and we just click this little blue button here that says Add Contact. Now, we're going to put their business name in this first name field. We're going to fill out this information. Once we do that, all we have to do is find that contact and apply the tag business, and they instantly have a listing on our directory site. Now, their listing isn't going to look like this right out of the gate. It's probably going to be more like one of our basic free listings like here, where there's like a default profile image. There's just basic information about their business. You can see this is kind of a very plain Jane type of free listing. So here's our first opportunity to really wow these warm leads that have reached out to us because they've said, hey, look, I'm interested. I want to be on this thing. This is our chance to just go a little bit extra and provide some value while we set up their listing. Again, you saw how easy it is to create a listing. We just create a contact, give it the business tag. And with Smart Directory AI, we're able to punch this listing up even more very, very quickly. So let me show you how I would do that process. So a business responds, I get their information, I go in, I create their listing. Now I would go into the back end of Smart Directory AI, I click on businesses, and I'm going to go find their listing. Now I'm going to use, you can see we've got our premium accounts and our free accounts. I'm going to use this Bella or this Elite Remodels as my example to show you what I would do. So I created their listing. It's going to look very basic, right? Like I showed the kind of plain Jane listing before. But what I would do is go into their listing, click this little pencil to edit it, go over to the business details, and I would just add some images. Now you may think, well, Tom, doesn't that take forever? How do we get the images? Well, that's the great thing about Smart Directory AI is it connects to the Google API. And so once we have that connected, we can just copy their business name from their business name section, and we can go down here to this lower corner where it says link Google Business Profile. We just pop their business name in here, and you'll see it pulls up their business from the Google API, and I can select it, and now their listing is linked to their Google Business Profile. So what does that allow me to do? Well, it allows me to go into the images, and I can click, now you'll see a new Google Images tab here, and this shows me all the images that they currently have on their Google Business Profile. And so I can just select whatever image I want to use as their profile, as their cover image. And just with a click and a use selected, boom, I've added their own images from their Google business profile to their listing. I also have the ability to add some additional images here as well. And again, I can just pull these in from their Google business profile. It just takes a couple of minutes to do that. You can see also that on the business details, I can put in a business description. So I just use AI to create this. So all I did here was I went to ChatGPT and I just said, hey, here's the website for this business. Create an AEO, answer engine optimized business description that I can put on their listing in my local directory. And it just gave me this listing. It took, again, just a couple of minutes. I just pasted that right back into this business description part. And then I went in and I added their business hours right here. And since their website had some links to their social profiles, I also added those as well. So what does that do? Well, that takes this plain Jane listing from looking like this to something that looks like this in just a matter of a few minutes. So now I can reach back out to that business and say, hey, Tom here, I've added your business to my directory, and I just did a couple of extra things for you as just a way of saying thank you for being a part of the directory. Sometimes I will just record a little screen capture, or you can just send a voice note on this, but you send them a link to their listing and you just tell them what you did. I went ahead and added some images I got from your Google business profile. If you want different images, shoot them over to me. I'm happy to replace them. You'll see I put in a business description. Please review that. Make sure everything there is accurate. Any changes, let me know. I also added in links to your social media and your website as well. So you can see right out of the gate, what am I doing here with these people that respond, right? I'm not pitching, right? I'm not trying to sell AI. I'm just trying to get their listing set up and looking good, provide some value, and start to build this relationship. Now, once they go and look at this listing and they come back and verify like, yeah, this is all right, or maybe they send me a picture and they want me to change it, I make those updates for them. And then I just send them another message and I say, I've got all of this set up for you here. You can double check the changes I made, or thanks for verifying all the information. One more thing I would like to bring to your attention is I do have something called a founder's package, which is a bunch of extra features that are added to your listing. Things like an AI agent for your listing. You can add Google reviews. You're able to manage everything. It's all locked in. Normally, this package runs around $6.99, but I've got a special 70% offer for the next 10 people that sign up. You can get all of that stuff for just $200. And there's some additional things in this package that I give them. Like, for instance, you can see down here, I do a custom audit of their online visibility. I just use ChatGPT or Claude for this. I respond to any reviews that they haven't responded to. Again, the Smart Directory AI software uses AI to do this for you. Very easy. I use AI to create a little 60-second promotional video for them. And I create a custom AI agent for their listing, which looks like this. If you look at this business, you'll see on their listing, I've got this custom AI agent right here. This is all trained on their business. It can even book appointments for them. It can connect them to people in their business if someone comes to the listing. So I have all of that. You can see a much more built out business description. Also, it pulls in a Google map, plus it pulls in their Google reviews. So these are the things, the real tangible values that I'm adding just right out of the gate. Now, this is the founder package that Shay sold. This is what you'll see in the 72-hour traction playbook that people are selling on the back end. And it has everything in there, what the packages are, how to do the audits, all of that stuff as well. So I'm not going to go into the details of that. But you can see, like right out of the gate, like what does this business right here think of me? Well, I mean, I've done no selling to them. I've provided them value with this listing, and I've even went a few extra steps to them. They have no idea that this only took me a few minutes. To them, it looks like I probably spent some significant time making this listing look better. that trust, that authority, that relationship is just getting stronger. So when I talk about my additional offers, there's not that resistance that you normally get when you're cold prospecting. Now, I mentioned that, well, what if they say, hey, well, this is great, but does this get any traffic? Most people never even ask that. They're just super stoked to have a listing that's free and that looks good and all that stuff. But here's the important point. Remember what I said about honesty? When we first set up our directory and it doesn't have a lot of traction, I don't position this as a traffic generating type of a thing. The way I position this is as an online visibility asset. So instead of saying, hey, or implying that this listing is going to send them a bunch of traffic, I just say things like, look, I'm giving your business another highly relevant local presence online. It's optimized so search engines, AI platforms, and potential customers have another place to discover and verify exactly what you do. This is good for their SEO. It's good for AEO. There's a lot of value that comes from this, even though the site in the beginning is not getting any traffic. So is everybody with me so far on that positioning and that approach? Awesome. I see Bill says, I posted on Facebook, got about 35 people interested, but only about 10 sending their info to the follow-up. Bill, that's great. Yeah, he says he's going to contact the non-action takers after I have the first ones added and the site announced. Excellent job. I'll get to your question here in just a second about the calling. And then I'll answer some of these questions about the platform itself here in just a minute. But everybody's with me so far on this approach, right? So we add their listing first. That's the first thing we want to do. Get their listing live, do a little bit of extra value, and make it look good. Okay, now in the Traction Playbook, there's a section where we talk about anyone who responds, right? Like let's say that you make a post and you get 10 businesses that respond. Well, you get their information. So Bill said, how many did Bill say that he had responded? Yeah, he said he had about 10 that sent him their info, right? So one of the things that you can do to really kind of make this process a little more efficient and make sure that you're talking to people that have a real chance of turning into a paying client is you take those 10 people that respond, you put their business information, their website into ChatGPT, and the prompt is in the 72-hour Traction Playbook. It will run an audit of their businesses, and it will actually come back and tell you which ones are the best ones to contact first, who has the most need for what you have to offer. And now it will even tell you what to say so that you don't even have to come up with that, right? So now you run those 10 businesses through and it'll say, hey, based on these 10 businesses, here's all the issues I found. Here's how you could help them. Here's the top 3 that I would suggest you contact right away. And so now we have a priority. Now those 3, we pretty up their listing, we reach out to them, we start that process, right? So that is kind of how we can prioritize who we should reach out to, who not, that type of thing. Again, all inside the 72-hour Traction Playbook, how to do that. But once we have their listing up, the next thing we'll want to do is create a contact for the business owner. So again, to do that, all you do is go into your Smart Directory AI software, and then you're going to click on the contacts, the same thing we did before, but instead of adding their business information here, you're going to add their personal information. And then you're going to go to that contact you created, and instead of giving them a tag of business, because we don't want to create a listing with their personal information, we give them a tag of consumer. And now we can link that listing to that consumer, and now that business owns that listing. So that's how that whole system functions together. If you have more questions about it, there's an article on the knowledge base at smartdirectory.ai help. If you go over here to the listings section, let me find listings and adding listings, you'll see here is an article on how to add contacts from your Facebook responses. And I go through how to create each contact, what you need to do, what you need to put in there, all of that stuff right out of the gate, right? And when you create that consumer contact, that will generate a password and a login for that business owner to your directory site. So now they will be able to come to your directory site. They'll be able to log in right here, and they will see in their front-facing profile a tab called Owned Businesses, and their business will be listed in here. And then they can view it, they can manage it. If they haven't upgraded to premium, they will see this button that will take them to a screen where they can upgrade to the premium offer, right? Or they can just click on their business and they can manage it right here. They can go in, add their own profile images, edit their information all from the front end without you having to do anything. So again, that is how we handle the initial people that reach out to us with adding them to our directory and then our follow-up process. Now you can also add bulk businesses. So if you put all the businesses that respond in a CSV, you can upload them all at once, create listings for them all at once, all of that kind of stuff. But in the beginning, I would probably recommend just doing it one at a time as you're doing the follow-up and things like that, right? And again, if anyone asks about traffic, what do? We just be honest. We say, hey, look, this really isn't about getting a lot of traffic right now. The site's new. I'm just building it out. But here's what it does do for you. It gives you another relevant digital piece of real estate online that can show up in search results. That's just another way for people to find you. It's a great local, what's called a citation for SEO and AEO and different things like that. So that is that initial process there. Now, let me go back to the chat, and I want to answer a few of these questions, and we'll talk about, did that help clear this up for anyone, by the way? For the kind of the rest of this training, I'm just going to take your questions. So if you have them, just put QQQ in your comment. I'll go through and I'll answer the questions, and we'll just get to as many as we can as we go through today's session. So I got one from KCC. He says, my direct call. So KCC is actually having someone call the businesses that are listing. He says, I'm not having many pickups. Any suggestions on cold calling for pickups and then getting them engaged? Follow the script to the letter, but no joy so far. KCC, yeah, I mean, it's getting harder and harder to get traction and attention with this kind of stuff, which is why we've been focusing more on the traction playbook method, because emailing has become less effective because of AI. Just every knucklehead can send AI cold messaging. Now there's AI cold dialers, all that stuff. It is difficult. I wish I had some surefire way where I'm like, yeah, this will make them pick up, but that's just not the case. The thing I would do is just try to lead right away with, hey, when the person answers, look, I'm Tom. I built this thing in this local area. You already have a live listing. I'm only calling to verify your information. Do you have a minute so we can make sure that it's accurate? Because it's live online already. That's usually what I do. I don't try to sell or do anything like that right out of the gate. Carl says, how do you get more links in your menu at the top? I only have 3 and then the 4th with more. So, Carl, I think you're talking about, and let me make sure. Are you talking about these things up here? These top level menu items? Is that what you're asking about? Let me take a look and we'll see. So Carl, here's how you do that. Let me just show you this. So in the back end of your software, so these menu items are what are called listing labels. So to create them, you just go to the business tab and you'll see in the menu here, there's listing labels. When you click on this, we have a bunch of preloaded ones loaded in for you. But if you don't have those, you can just click this little blue add listing label and you just put whatever you want it to be called here and click add. Once you have your listing labels added here, then you can add them to your menu. So here, I'm just going to add a new one. So we'll just call this test listing label. And I'm just going to add this to my listing label. So I've added it. You'll see it down here in the bottom, right? Now, to add this to my top level menu, all I do is go over to branding and I click on the menu builder. And on the left, these are all the things that you can add to your menu. And you'll see there's listing labels right here. If I click this download and I scroll down, you should see here's my test listing label that I added, right? Everybody sees that? So now I can just click that, and if you look over here now, you will see that the test listing label, oh, I got to click add to menu. you can add multiple at one time. It now adds it to the menu. See it right here? And now I can just drag and drop and put this wherever I want. So if I want to make it a subcategory, if I want to make it top level, whatever I want to do. Now, if I want to delete this, all I do is go here and click delete. I can even edit the name here. I can have it open in a new window. I just click delete and boom, we're right back to where we started, right? So that's how you create this menu structure. You start by making your listing labels. These are the things that you want listed here, and then you add them through the menu builder. So I hope that helps kind of clarify that. Slam Dunk says, what if the customer does not have a Google business profile? Sorry, I'm on here. I was giving you guys a view in the matrix. You were looking at the comments there. Slam Dunk. So I think that's a great opportunity to help them set one up. So if they don't have a Google business profile, like, hey, I noticed when I was setting up your listing that you don't have a Google business profile. That's important. I can help you set that up. I'm happy to do it just to get you situated, right? Maybe you do it for free as another way to build trust. So that's how I handle that type of situation. Let's see. How do I bulk delete demo accounts on the directory? Ted, super easy. Let me go back over to the directory menu. So again, for a listing to exist, it has to be a contact card. So if you just go over to contacts here on the left and you click on this filter and you want to filter by tag. So I'm going to filter by tag. And if you go down here, you will see there is a demo tag. If I click that and click apply, I don't have any because I've deleted them, but it will pull up all of your demo businesses right here. And then you can just select them all and there'll be a little menu that pops up and you can just click delete. So you can just delete them all at one time like that. Or if you don't want to delete them, Ted, one thing that you can do here as well is you can just simply remove the business tag and that will take them off of your directory. So again, you would just filter by tag, demo, select them all, and then there's a little remove tag option at the top. Just remove the business tag and then those demo listings won't be listings on your site anymore. You can also delete businesses from inside the Smart Directory AI dashboard here on the left. So if you go to businesses and you know where the demo business is, right? Like you could search here, pull up the business specifically that you're looking for, and you could just delete it right here by clicking the little trash can. So there's multiple ways to get rid of those, and all of them very straightforward. Again, if you have questions about those, you can also check out the knowledge base about adding and removing listings. There's information in there on this as well. Okay, let me go back to our comments here. Instead of a second account, why not add a custom field for their name? So we do have that in there, but let me explain. And this is a great opportunity for me to do a little segment I like to call Under the Hood of Smart Directory AI. So a lot of questions I see in the school group around the software, a lot of them come back to, like, I get it. Like, we built this, we understand how it works, but for you, the user, you might not be clear on how all of this functions underneath the hood, right? So let me just spend a minute talking about under the hood of Smart Directory AI and how it actually works. So the reason that we don't do that, the reason why we don't put their name in the first name is because the software requires you to have a first name when you enter a contact. You must have a first name. Now, when you add a business, like we scrape lists, when you get leads from places, you might not always know the first name of the business owner. So how would you add them as a listing if you don't know their first name, if that's required? That's the problem. So we solved that by just making the business name go in that first name category. And then that makes everything display correctly on the front end. And then we create a separate contact that's a consumer and link those two together. So now we can keep that information separate. That also allows us to send automated email messages just to listings and also just to consumers or just to business owners, right? So it's really a separation issue, and also just making the adding and creation of a listing as straightforward as possible, where you don't get stuck because the system is telling you like you have to have a first name and now you got to make something up, or you're spending a bunch of time to do that. So that is why we do it this way. I hope you enjoyed that little under the hood of SDI session there. Let me see. Let me go. Rocket, you could use it from a business Facebook page setup. Most people do it from their personal, like you just want to seem a little more real, but give it a shot. Try it. See if how your traction goes with it. By the way, this method doesn't just work on Facebook. I don't know if you all are aware of this, but there are a lot of local focused groups and local business groups on sites like Reddit, sites like Nextdoor, sites like Alignable. You can absolutely apply this same method to those other platforms as well. So you could go into Reddit, search for local business groups in whatever your city is, and then you could make this same post in those groups as well. So you're not just limited to Facebook. A lot of people use Facebook, and that's kind of why we use it as the example, but you can really do this with other groups as well. Ben says, Tom, I work full-time Monday through Thursday. Would you still follow the 72-hour playbook exactly, or would you modify it for someone building this Friday to Sunday? Ben, my only kind of modification to this would be I would set my post up probably early in the week so that I can get responses. And then when I have time on Friday through Sunday, that's where I would be adding listings, responding, and doing that. That way, the prospecting is happening while you're doing whatever you're doing in the beginning of the week. You're bulk batching your responses and things like that over the weekend. That has always kind of been my preferred method with this approach. Even when, I'm using the email automations, I will send the email automations out during the week, and then I'll just set a few days, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that I'm going to respond to the people that respond on the time that I have. And that's the beauty of this system. If you are working a full-time job, you have prospecting going while you're working, and then you can respond and engage with those people when you have the time to do it on the weekends. Just make sure you make the time to do it, because people will respond and you will get traction, right? Alan says, before I start to outreach from my email, should I run a 2-week warm-up campaign on Instantly or something similar so the email doesn't land in spam? Alan, great question. So there are two different approaches here to this. You can do that. Yes, you can use something like Instantly to warm up your email and all that stuff. And if you have the budget for it, if you have the ability to do that, that's great. But we also have the email warm-up built into the outreach. So I'm going to go to the knowledge base here, and I'm going to search outreach. And you're going to see there is the outreach workflow knowledge base article right here. I'm going to go to this article, and you'll see under resources, look at this. Download our email warm-up response template. Download our email warm-up with Smart Directory AI PDF guide. You can actually use Smart Directory AI to warm up your email while you're prospecting. And it's just a simple matter of dripping out your initial outreach emails. So what you do inside the system is you would select the contacts that you want to drop into the automation. And when you put them in the automation, it will ask you, do you want to send these all at once? You can actually schedule it out so that it sends only 10 a day for however many days you want. Then you can up that to 20, and then we just gradually up it over time. So that's how a lot of our users are warming up their email. They're just doing it while they're prospecting. But you can use something like Instantly as well if you would like. Let me go in here. Do you have outbound AI calling agent as well, which you are sharing with the members? Aditi, yes, we do have an outbound calling agent inside the system. So look, I have to say this about outbound calling because outbound calling is kind of like working with dynamite, right? It's not a question of if it'll explode, it's when. If you are outbound dialing without getting permission first, you are just rolling the dice to get into trouble. So Smart Directory AI actually overcomes that issue with the claim business function. So whenever someone goes to their listing to claim it, so let me go to this one free, I don't think this one, yeah. So whenever someone goes to their listing, there's this button here that says claim this business. Let me log out of this because if I'm logged in, it'll just claim it for me. So let's say a new user comes here, they go to their listing, right? They see this claim business button. They click it. It's going to prompt them to either log in or they have to create an account. When they go to create this account, and this, by the way, is their consumer account. They're creating a consumer account here. They put in their first name, their email, and then we have this consent box here. If they check this box, you now have permission to AI outbound dial them. So this is how we get permission, is by pushing people to claim their listing, which gives us that permission to AI outbound dial them. Now, the AI outbound dial agent is located under AI agents here on the left. And if you go into voice AI and you go into your agent list, you will see you will have an outbound and an inbound agent already existing in your site. And so you can go to workflows, create a simple workflow, and have the outbound agent start calling those listings that have claimed and confirmed that it's okay to outbound dial them. So that is how you set that up inside the software itself. How do I add their Google reviews if they do not have a physical address, but they do have a Google business profile with reviews? Steve, that is another kind of drawback of the system. You do have to have an address. You could just, if you can pull them up to link to their profile, then you can add them. So the first thing I would do is I would go to their listing, right? I would go to that person's listing, and then I would see if I can link their Google business profile here in business details. So I'd copy their business name. I would here, I'm going to copy this one. I'm going to post it down here to link and see, does it come up? If it comes up, then you can link it and pull in their Google reviews. If it doesn't, then you're going to have some type of an address here. If you can't, we can only pull in information that the Google API has. If the Google API doesn't have the information or doesn't provide it, then I'm not sharing my screen. If the Google API doesn't provide that here, then there's no way for us to pull it in. So we're limited by Google on that. So I don't know if I have any businesses that don't have addresses on my site, but I would check to see if you can find it in the Google API, and if not, then that's a limitation of Google, not of Smart Directory AI. How it says, let's see. Hi, Tom. How do you verify someone claiming a listing is actually connected to the business, especially if they use Gmail rather than a company email? Nathan, the way that we do that is we're proactive in the outreach, right? Like the emails that we send out for people to claim their listings are going to the business owners. Like we've scraped that list. We feel pretty confident that the person on there is the business owner. So we don't ever really have any issues with that. I would find it odd that someone would respond to your Facebook post that really isn't the business owner. And what is their point there? There's really not anything nefarious they can do here that I'm aware of. So, we've just never really had that issue. So I don't really worry about it too much. But, you could ask them to provide some type of documentation via email or something if that's a concern for you. I see Carl's putting some things in there. Tom, earlier you showed how to add a listing and clicked on something to create the business information with AI. Jeff, yeah, I just used ChatGPT. So this is what I do there. Here, let me pull up a ChatGPT window, and I will show you what I do. So here, I'm going to share my screen. So let's just look up a plumber. So let's say this legacy plumbing is the business. Well, let's do one that's not a sponsored link. Okay. So I just go to the business website. So let's say I'm wanting to create a business description for this business on my directory. I just copy their URL. Then I go to ChatGPT and I say, create a optimized short business description for my local directory site for this business, which has a listing on there. Here's their URL. And then I just post in their URL. Oops, I hit send too early, but it's telling me what it's going to do. Then I just give it the URL and it will actually go check out that URL. And then you'll see here in a second, it just pops back a description. Here it is. It tells me what it optimized it around. And then I can just copy this and paste it into their business description. So that's exactly how I'm doing that. Very, very simple and straightforward. Let me go back to my questions here. Be aware, Tom, earlier. Okay, I saw that. Be aware that the demo content all blogs, etc., and you need to remove those blogs. Yes, thanks, Carl, for that reminder. If you're removing the demo content, it's always good to go in and like delete the blogs and events that are on those listings first and then remove the listings. Thank you, Carl, for reminding me of that. I often forget to do that. Somebody said, is there a help doc for setting up a custom web chat widget in their listing page? Yes, there is. So if you go to our Smart Directory AI, here, I'm going to go over to the knowledge base here. This should be your go-to resource when you're like, how do I do this? How do I do that? If you look in the left-hand menu, there's a whole section here on AI agents. And if you click this little arrow, you will see create and add a custom voice AI agent to listing. This is the exact step-by-step walkthrough. Shows you exactly how to do it, everything you need to do. So yes, we do have that. For someone using the directory mainly as a relationship prospecting engine rather than trying to make premium listings a primary business, would you change anything about this 72-hour method? Burn, no, I wouldn't. I would just follow that approach exactly. I mean, you don't have to offer a founder's package, right? Like, if you want, you could just give your premium listings away for free. Like, you could say, anyone who responds, you could say, hey, I really appreciate you responding. As a way of saying thank you, I have upgraded your listing to premium, which is normally $700, but I've just done it for free. I've put a bunch of information here. Go check it out. Let me know any changes you want. That builds the relationship even more, right? Because you're giving them, in their mind, you're giving them $700 in value, right? Just as a way of saying thank you for signing up to the directory. So that's one way you could alter it, but I would pretty much follow it to the letter in the beginning. Let's see. So I tried the method you said about adding a new menu. So Carl, so there is limited space on the menu, right? So like when you are up here, you'll see right here, I only have I only have 4 main menu items, and then I have more, right? That goes down to all my other stuff. So depending on how long these menu items are, and whether you have the home option turned on or off, then like you can really only get 4 or 5 items in here, and then they just go to more. If you want whatever you want to show here, you just have to use the drag and drop menu builder to set it as the 4 you want to show. The home option, let me show you what I'm talking about there. So over in the branding section, in your menu, you have the ability to, here, in the menu builder, so you can remove the home, like in the default installation, there's a button here that says home. You can just remove that, and that frees up a space as well. So if you look, system pages, home, normally home is right here. I can always add it back if I want, but I just take it off because I don't really need it. If they want to go to the home page, they can just click the logo here or someplace like that. But yes, because of the things we have up here, this is not like, it's not an unlimited space. You can't just put as many things because you're restricted by the screen size. And when somebody views this on a mobile phone, they're not going to see 4 in a row. They're only going to see them straight up and down, right? So depending on their screen size, depending on what device they're on, all that stuff, the amount of things that show on the menu change. Let me go back to the questions here. Somebody said, when you create a consumer, do you need to manually append the plus user? No, the system will do it automatically. The phone number on the site, is it an AI agent? So on my site, yes. I bought a phone number, I connected it to an AI agent, and I put that phone number as my site phone number. You can do the exact same thing. Let me go back here. Sounds like Tom needs a graphic called Under the Hood. I should get that. I just thought about that before I went live today because I made a note of what I wanted to talk about. And I was like, I want to talk about Under the Hood. Like, try to get some more visibility on how the system actually operates and functions so you have a better understanding of the capabilities and what it does, right? Because another thing, here's another little Under the Hood moment from Tom. Another thing that I see people kind of talk about sometimes in the group is like, when I click on dining and I go to Mexican restaurant, this is not an actual website page, okay? The Smart Directory AI software is actually creating this page on the fly based on the listing labels. So you can see the listing label is Mexican restaurant. So when someone goes to dining and they click Mexican restaurant, the software shows all of the businesses that have the listing label Mexican restaurant. So this is actually not a physical page that you can go in and edit because it's creating it whenever you add new Mexican restaurants and give them that listing label and go back to this page, there will be more listings here, right? So this is, I don't know, the word is escaping me for what this is, but so these are not, whenever you click on any of these things, these are not actual web pages that can be edited. Now, that is why if you want to edit something like this is the listing label, right? So this is showing what you make the listing label. But that is why on some pages, when you want to edit the copy, you have to go over here to settings and you go into this custom names section. And these are all different header things that you can edit and make say whatever you want. And the reason is because some of those pages aren't actual web pages, right? So this is where you edit that copy and change those things right here. So I hope that kind of clarified some things for some people too. What does your personal agency website look like? So I don't have a personal agency website. So yeah, I don't have one. But if you do have one, you can just link it over. We had a template from my other company, Offline Sharks, that we used for a long, long time. Let me see. Alicia says, hi, Tom. You just showed the directory and the listing had the business phone number and the claim business button. My directory is missing that on the listings. Are you talking about the claim business button, Alicia? If that's the case, please submit a ticket to support because that sounds like a bug. When trying to change the logo in the business in the media storage section, how do I add the Google Maps link to get the images from their Google profile? So Anitra, let me show you that process again. And again, on the knowledge base, if you go here to the knowledge base, you'll also see under the listing section, because this has to do with listings, right? You will see pull Google images to listings. Here's a complete knowledge base article on how to do this. So I'm going to post this in the chat right now, and then I'll just run you through real quick how to do this. So here's the knowledge base article on how to pull in Google listings. So here we go. Let me go back to this page. So you go to the listing that you want to connect to the Google business profile. So I'm going to go over here. I'm just going to use this Elite Remodels as an example. You click the little pencil to edit. you go to business details, you copy their business name, and then in the lower right corner, there is link to Google Business Profile. You just paste their business name in here. You'll see their Google Business listed from the API. You just click it, and now their business is connected to the Google API, and you can pull in their images here. So that's how you do it. And again, this knowledge base article shows you that step by step exactly how to do it. Okay? All right. Let's see. Carl says, when uploading the list of contacts via bulk upload, can you also add a list of listing labels at the same time? Carl, the only way to do that is you would need to, first, all the listing labels have to already be created on your Smart Directory AI installation. So the first step is to create all the listing labels. Then you could make a new column and you could paste the listing label you wanted to go with each business in that column, and it would upload them all at once. Now, again, there is an article on the knowledge base about how to do this. So if you go to the listing labels section, Carl, look at this, listing labels. Where is listing labels? Here we go. Bulk upload listing labels right here. This shows you, and we give you a template so you can bulk upload them to your site. Like if you just want to create them all at once, and then you would have to make a column. I think an easier way to do it is to use the listing label bulk edition in the software itself. So let me show you that. I'm going to go over to my Smart Directory AI dashboard, and I'm going to go to the businesses section. Okay. Now, let's say that I just uploaded a bunch of businesses and they don't have listing labels because I just uploaded them. Right, Carl? That's the situation you're in. Well, you can sort your businesses by people that have no listing labels. So when you upload your list, if you go to businesses and then you click on none, it will pull up all businesses that don't have a listing label. You can also add a type of business. So like if I wanted to see, do I have any electricians? What do I have here? So, nope. Let's see. So if I wanted to look up real estate agents, this will just pull up all the real estate agents that don't have a listing label. So if I wanted to apply the real estate listing label to all these at once, I just select them all. I click this add listing labels button. I go in here. I find my real estate. I think I have one in here. Let me see. Maybe I find real estate, and then I just click save. And now I've applied the real estate to all of those in one swoop. Now, if I just want to do all different types, I can just leave this as none. It will pull up every business that doesn't have a listing label. And so I can just go through here and be like, okay, here's body therapy. Here's physical therapy. Here's Pain Institute. I can just select the ones I want. Again, I can click add listing label, and I can just add whatever I want for their listing label here, right? So I prefer to use this than trying to do it through the CSV, because the CSV, there can just be problems, and if you make a mistake, you're stuck, and it can just turn into a real headache if you mess something up. So I prefer to do that. When trying to change the logo, I talked about that. After the 10 founding spots fill at one business per industry, does that exclusivity end for wave 2 so multiple businesses in the same industry can become premium members? Bernardo, that's really up to you. I mean, that's a personal preference. You can decide to do that however you want. There's no like set in stone, this is how it has to be. You get to decide that and decide on that. You could make it. So let me just throw this out to you all as well. And this is, again, some other functions you may not be aware of in Smart Directory AI. So on your Smart Directory AI software, if you go to your branding section, so let's go to your branding section, you'll see that you have the ability, it's under content, so you go to content, you have the ability to decide how many premium listings are shown on your homepage. Now you can show 3, 6, 9, or 12. So if you were to set your founding member package to 12 members, and the advantage of taking the founding member package would be that on your homepage, there's 12 premium businesses listed here. I call it the Vegas A list, but these are really my premium listings. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 12 businesses here. So these could just be my founding members. So I could say, look, in the founding member package, you get homepage placement. And then anyone who signs up for Wave 2, they would be, whenever you click see all, they would come after those first 12. So after these first 12, then this would be all of your other premium listings. So the founding members would get the first 12 spots, and then everybody else would be after that. So how do you set this up? You may be asking yourself. Well, very easy. One of the functions inside Smart Directory AI is the ability to reorder your listings. You can set them in any order that you want. So all you would do is you would set your homepage to display 12 premium listings over here, right? And then you go into the business section. Once you get your 12 founding members, you just go to the premium accounts and you click this little reorder button. And now you can drag and drop these into any order you want. So you would just move your 12 founding members to be the first 12 listings under this premium section. And now they would be the first 12 that show on the homepage and the first 12 that show whenever someone goes to that premium listing page. And then if you want to edit your free listings, you can do the same thing. In this case, you just go to the free accounts and you can click reorder and you can drag and drop them in any order you want as well. So that is one of the nifty little functions of the reorder, so that you can set things in whatever order you want your listings to be. So that gives you the ability to have 12 set in stone spots on your homepage that are part of your founding package. And then all the other premium listings, they would have to click through to the regular pages to see. Hi, Tom. How do we deal with offering free listings, but then later on the business is no longer active? And do you make free listings searchable? If the business is no longer active, I just leave them on my site so the site looks populated, but I just keep moving on, right? I only want to deal with interested people. If people just aren't responding, I cut them to the curb and just keep going. There's plenty of businesses out there, right? Jeff says, I have the free outreach email going. It started 2 days ago. Awesome work, Jeff. Way to get that going. Do I have to wait until the workflow is ended before I start sending another group? No, Jeff, you do not. You can add new listings to that at any time. You don't have to wait for it to be done. Charity says, on the header, I have a Get Listed tab, but can't figure out how to connect the paid plan options. I have the paid plans configured, just can't figure out how to show it. So, Charity, on your menu, you should have a permanent menu item that's called price. I think it's called price. Let me look back here in the menu builder. If you go to the menu builder and you go to system pages, you see this one that's called pricing. That is the page that goes to your paid plans. So if you want to change the title of this, you edit that someplace else. You don't actually have to connect anything. So let me show you how I did this, because you see that mine says get listed and it goes to the paid plan, right? How did I do this? Well, all I did was I went into the settings and that custom name section I mentioned earlier. And you see where there's the pricing page right here where it says plans. See this? I just edited the copy here to make it get listed, and that changes the name of it. That's how you do that. You don't create a new listing label and try to connect it. You just go in here to custom names. It's under settings. Find this plans and just put whatever you want it to be right here, and it will automatically change it on your menu. So that's how I did this. Oh, shoot. I'm not showing my screen. Sorry, I forget to do that. So here I am. So see, I am on this get listed. So here's what I did. I'm in the Smart Directory AI dashboard, right? You go to settings. This custom name section right here is plans. Whatever you type in here, that's what it will change the name to. So that's all I did. I just changed what that tab was called. So like, look, if I delete this, well, here, let me delete it this way and save changes. Well, it takes a minute for the cache to clear, but it would be pricing. So you just go in here, put in what you want, right? Save changes, and then it will just update the plans. It won't say plans anymore. It'll just say what you have right there. So I hope that helped solve that problem for you. Let's see, on the header, okay, I removed the home, etc. Still have only 3 items plus the more. You have 4 plus the more. I'm simply jealous and want 4 plus more items. Carl, I mean, the only thing I can think that's different is it's either your screen size. Like if you're on a screen that is, have you tried stretching it out? Does that fix it? The only other thing I can think is maybe the titles of your top level menu items are longer than mine, right? Like you can see mine are very short. Dining, services, retail, very short. So that could be that. All right. I know we're over past the top of the hour. I'm going to answer a few more questions. If you have any last minute ones, pop them in. And then we're going to wrap up today's session. Christian, yeah, I noticed that. I'll have to get with the developers on that. That's a bug. Let's see if we wanted, let me look here. If we wanted to make a Q&A page, would that be a custom page? Yes, Rebecca, you would set up a custom page. So here's another little under the hood Smart Directory AI moment. When you see pages like this, like Contact Us and Privacy Policy, you have the ability to create custom pages. These are custom pages. They're actually a funnel inside your Smart Directory AI account. If you go to Sites and you click on Funnel, you'll see the Smart Directory AI funnel. You'll see you have these preloaded custom pages that you can add to your directory. And if you want to create a new custom page, you can do that here. It opens up a website builder. You can build whatever custom page you want and add it to your directory. But yeah, you would do that through custom page. What are the best sources for building an online agent's knowledge base for the main directory chat widget? Well, Bill, I mean, the main directory, if you're talking about your main directory, like just information about your directory, I would maybe put in some Q&A, frequently asked questions, add in any documents you have about your directory, your brand, all that stuff. Like the AI agent that we provide, it automatically has the ability to search your listings and pull in all that information and interact with Smart Directory AI for like claiming listings and doing all that stuff, adding businesses. So there's really nothing to do there. You would just need to add some documentation that you want. It just depends on what you want it to know. Like, what do you want it to know? Just put it in a Google Doc and upload that. Patty says, Tom, you're right. That Dan Kennedy AI book is great. Yes, it is. The Small Business Owners AI Survival Guide. That is an excellent, excellent book. Anitra says, but the button is missing under media storage. Anitra, I'm not sure what you're trying to do there. Can you please reach out to support so they can help you get that sorted? Carl says, talking of listing labels, thanks for helping me add them in a better way. You had a mastermind with some members that was recorded. When I looked at one of those members' site, he had the listing. Gotcha. Hero Banner, can we do that? Or is it a different software? It was a Norway site. We don't have a Hero Banner yet. That was something that one of our members custom coded into their site. What's the best approach if there are 2 or more people with Smart Directories AI in the same city? Rocket, ignore them. Ignore them. Just do proactive outreach every single day. Don't worry about them. Just make posts in groups, do the automated email outreach, just do proactive prospecting every single day. All right, I think I fixed that. If we want to define an end date for the premium listing to be removed, hence we can sell it to a new prospect or offer it to a client, is that possible? We don't have that. I mean, a premium listing is just for that. Well, I mean, you would just like, let's say that you had someone as your premium listing and they stop paying. They don't want to do it anymore. You would just turn off their premium listing status. and then you could just add another one. And so, I mean, it's really easy to do that. You just use the toggle on and off button on their business listing. Carl says, I have a massive screen. All right. All very short. Have you tried using Appify to get details of clients to reach out to and add to the directory? No, Carl. The reason I haven't done that is because we are actually putting the final touches on this. I think we're going to be rolling this out live publicly towards the end of this month. But we have built an internal lead scraping system directly into Smart Directory AI. So soon, you are going to be able to build your own lead list right in the software. You're going to be able to enrich and verify that data. You're going to be able to verify email addresses. And with just a click, you're going to be able to make them listings on your site. It will also tell you what marketing problems they have. So that's coming. It's awesome. I can't wait to roll it out to you guys. I can't really go into much more detail on that. Carl, demo the custom code to the body. Yeah, so Carl, those custom code sections are really only for like analytical tags. I don't know if you saw, I think you posted on this in the school group. I saw Stephanie's response to you, and she's right on. Those are really just for things like analytical tags and different things like that. They're not really for adding like custom code objects or things like that. The listing item sounds great. Extra cost. It depends on how big a list you want to build, Carl. So you will be able to build lists as part of your Smart Directory AI packages. Depending on what package you have, that will depend on how many leads you can do. And then if you want to get more, you can get more, right? Because there is a cost to that. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, look, everybody, I really appreciate you all hanging out with me today. This was a great session. Awesome questions. This is going to be more of the style of these Friday coaching calls moving forward. I don't know if if you follow this YouTube channel, which I hope you do. I hope you're subscribed. You've probably noticed that I've started posting a video every single day. Because I'm now posting videos every single day, that kind of frees up this Friday spot to be a little more coaching focused, where I don't have to focus so much on content and worrying about creating something for YouTube. I can just focus on helping you, our members, answering your questions directly, diving a little deeper into some of the functionality of Smart Directory AI. So this is how these calls are going to go moving forward. You don't want to miss them. If you ever miss one, they're always on the YouTube channel. There's a playlist for the coaching calls. You can go back and watch them there. If you're watching this and you want to grab the 72-hour traction playbook that we've been talking about, all you have to do is like, subscribe, drop a comment below. I'll get you a link to this. Until then, stay safe this weekend, everybody. Stay smart.